Hey legends, you're here with EASYCORE from Spinlight Studio, and I'm going to take you through some simple effects that you can apply to your mixes to help level up your production. This is going to make things a little bit more exciting, add some more movement to your tracks, and overall just make the listening experience far more exciting and engaging. So the first effect we're going to have a look at is 360 panning, and we're going to achieve this with stereo tremolo. And the way that we have it set, it's going to feel like the sound is traveling around your head rather than just kind of going up and down, left and right. So make sure you're wearing a set of headphones so you can really hear this effect properly. So we're going to apply some 360 panning to some ambient guitar swells. Okay, so it's a nice lush ambient track. Now let me solo these guitar swells so you can really hear what's happening here. Such a cool effect, and you can hear how it's sort of chasing itself around in a circle. So at the end of the chain, we've just got stereo tremolo. This is just the stock tremolo plugin from Logic. And the secret sauce here is that we keep the phase 90 degrees off axis. So rather than being 180, which I think is maybe like the standard stereo setup, if you have a listen to this, it doesn't quite have the same effect. So it sounds nice, but it still kind of just sounds like it's getting turned up and down in the left and right. Whereas by having the phase 90 degrees off axis, it sounds like it's chasing itself. And our rate's set to 0.5 hertz, and I found that this was just a nice speed for the movement that I wanted to hear. But you can use tempo sync, and I think around a quarter or even a half beat sounds really good. And if you really want to make people feel sick, you could do it at like an eighth note. If you want to give people motion sickness. And obviously just playing with the depth gives you that desired effect of how hard it's hitting. I found around 70% sounded pretty nice for what I wanted to achieve. So 360 panning is just a great effect that you can apply to like an ambient sound or something that's sitting a bit further back in the mix, and you can just have it sort of create some movement for you without it being really distracting. So grab a quick screenshot of those settings and start applying that to some of your mixes. Now the next thing I want to talk about was adding effects with samples. So this is more of a transitional kind of thing. Like we want to add samples that can really lift our mix up. So like reverse sounds or noise sweeps, anything that can really enhance the mix and add more excitement. So sticking with the same track here, let me show you how I've used a couple of little samples to really enhance and create some impact in this mix. So coming out of our pre-chorus into the chorus, we've just got a little bit of a reverse effect here. And that's just a sample that I've dropped in here. And then straight when the chorus hits, we have a noise sweep. So have a listen to how this works leading up into the chorus and the impact it gives when the chorus hits. Really cool. Let's have a listen to what it sounds like if we take these two samples out. So it still hits, it still sounds good, but let's bring them back in and have a listen to how much excitement this adds to that section. That reverse sound really ramps it up into the chorus, and then the silence before the chorus hits. Never underestimate silence as an effect. Having a little bit of silence can make the impact afterwards sound massive. And when that noise sweep hits, it really lifts the chorus up. So very simple, getting some nice effects, swells, reverses, anything like that that can enhance a section and create a really good transition. start applying that stuff to your mixes where possible. And while we're in the same project, I'm going to show you another effect, and this is double tracking vocals. So in this situation, we have the double tracks at equal volumes, left and right. Normally when you think of double tracks, it's like down the center, and then you have your double track a bit lower, blended in. Whereas this effect, we're going to have the vocals at equal level and then just panned out a little bit to create a bit of an interesting stereo image. What we have here is some hums. So have a little listen to this nice little section. So you can hear how nice and sweet those vocals sound, and that's because we have them double tracked. So there's a left and a right of our lead hum, and then there's a harmony left and a right, which is panned out a little bit further again. So we have a look at the mixer here, and there's not much going on here, just a bit of EQ and some reverb. But instead of just having this as a single vocal, which it originally was, I decided while we're tracking it, let's double track this, make it a bit more interesting, pan the lead vocal out left and right, and get a bit of a stereo effect happening, make it sound a bit wider. Once we have the reverb on there, it creates this really lush soundscape. So it just widens these vocals out, gives them a really nice sense of space, and it sounds really beautiful, which is what we were going for. Okay, so we're going to jump into a new project here, and the next effect that we're going to talk about is ping pong delay. And this is a great effect to use if you really need to fill out a space where there's not much happening. So for example, in this track that I mixed very recently, we have these vocals in the verse.
Maybe walks the beach with friends can make me sing again. Lately.
So we've got this really big gap here, and while there's a bit going on with the instruments, it still feels like there could be something there to grab our attention. And so all I've done is bounce this vocal in place, so I didn't have to have all the plugins of the vocal there. Control B on this and bounce it in place with all the plugins. And then all I did was chop out the section that I wanted to use. And then we've ended up with this. And then I've put Sound Toys Echo Boy Jr. on here. So you can use any delay really, and you just have to set it to a ping pong delay. And I've got it set to a half note so that I'm getting the desired length of what I want to hear. So have a listen to what this sounds like.
Maybe walks the beach with friends can make me sing again. Lately, I've been trying to make changes on the weekends.
So a very easy and effective way of filling out an empty space, creating interest and movement to your track because it's moving around in that stereo field. Don't sleep on ping pong delay. It's really good with vocals and any kind of lead sound where you can get away with filling out a gap. Okay, and the next effect I want to show you is using Sound Toys Crystallizer. And basically what we're going to do with this is create a pad effect on any kind of melodic sound. In this case, some nice, beautiful, clean electric guitars. So for the guys who have picked up the Pop Punk EASYCORE mix course, you would have seen this effect in there, but I'm going to give everyone else a little sneak preview of this. And if you're interested in checking out that mix course, make sure you check out the description link below, go on my website and you can grab a copy over there. Basically, what we're going to do is use this really cool plugin called Crystallizer from Sound Toys. Now I'll just quickly show you what this sounds like. It's pretty crazy, hey? So that's what it's turning the electric guitars into. So I just kind of stumbled upon this by kind of mucking around with it. And basically, we push the pitch up 1200 cents, which is an octave. And then we go into tweak and we pull back the high cut a lot and pull out a bit of the low cut. And we're just left with this rolled off, really beautiful, paddish sound. So have a listen to what it sounds like when I reset the low cut and the high cut. Still a really cool effect, but it is kind of distracting. So by rolling out that high cut and the low cut, it just sort of mellows the sound out. It makes it blend in a little bit nicer. It's a bit more subtle. So around 10-12% keeps it pretty subtle. So anywhere where you want to add a bit of a pad to a melodic sound that you have, this is a really great way of quickly doing it. It sounds really nice. So grab a screenshot of that and steal my settings. All right, this next one is an oldie but a goodie, and you hear it all the time because it just works and it's just a fun effect. And that is filtering vocals. So doing that kind of megaphone, radio, telephone kind of sound to a vocal.
Heard you move back home, heart in your hands. Now you might just understand what it's like to be alone. Won't find me waiting by no telephone. Now you're seeing the picture in all these magazines.
So by doing that little bit of an effect just before the band kicks back in, it really makes the next bit hit a bit harder because we kind of thin the sound out and then bring the full sound back when the band hits. And so whenever I'm doing these kind of filter effects, I always just grab the CLA effects plugin from Waves, and it's just kind of dumb because it's just really easy to get a bunch of different filter sounds. The telephone effect that we have here, it's basically like click it, sounds pretty good, and you're kind of done. Whereas you would normally have to make an EQ for this, maybe put a little bit of distortion on it, add a little bit of reverb, maybe a bit of slap to kind of get the same effect that we have here in one plugin that took like 2 seconds for me to create.
Won't find me waiting by no telephone. Won't find me waiting by no telephone.
And it's very fitting because he's talking about waiting by the telephone, and we have a telephone effect on here. Now, if I did want to create that effect using just like your stock plugins, we could just use our EQ and high pass and low pass to get this kind of shape, and basically just do it to taste, finding that sweet spot of how much low end do you want to have in it, how thin you want it. And I think we have a very similar sounding effect with this kind of EQ.
Won't find me waiting by no telephone. Now you're seeing the...
So it's been done to death, but it is a great effect and it works really well. And so another way of creating some sense of depth and space in your mix is by using something like Valhalla's Shimmer. So a bit of a shimmer reverb. So shimmer reverb is basically kind of like octave reverb that's very long and drawn out and creates this really big sense of space.
It's okay to be wrong. Only the greatest can admit it. It's what you do once you've seen.
So you can hear that really nice paddish sound. It's actually just those piano notes with a whole bunch of shimmer reverb on it. So you can see we've got this piano track duplicated, and on our duplicate track, we actually just have Valhalla Shimmer added into the chain, and we have it on the mix 100%. And by pushing up this feedback knob, that's when we really start to get that bright, airy octave sound in the reverb. And then we've just blended that in with our clean piano track. So we still get that nice melody with the clean key sound, and then the Valhalla Shimmer just pads the whole thing out.
It's okay to be wrong.
Such a simple effect, but really effective. And you can use this on electric guitars, piano, acoustic guitar. You use it on a whole bunch of stuff and it sounds really cool. So there's a couple of fun effects that you can start applying to your mixes and your productions to add a bigger sense of space, maybe bring some more excitement and movement to your mixes. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you guys want to support this channel, make sure you check out the description link below, go to my website, check out the range of drum samples I have, and also check out the mix courses. And by grabbing a copy of that stuff, you really help support this channel and the time that goes into making these videos. And also by using any of the affiliate links below, that helps support this channel as well. If you like Pultec EQs and Fairchild compressors, then check out this next video coming up where I'm going to show you how to mix some drums using just those two things.
Hands are open.